What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from different comic book companies. Today, we are going to jump back over to Marvel Comics and continue our coverage over Johnathan Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers run. And we pick up with New Avengers once again, and we are going to cover the second half of New Avengers Volume 1. Now, with us doing that, we are actually going to learn a tad bit about the origin of Black Swan. But on top of that, we are going to learn what really did start the incursions. And so with that, I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video. And if you do, please hit that like button down below and subscribe. But here we go. So getting into New Avengers number 4, we actually pick up with Black Panther and Mr. Fantastic working on a way to recreate a bomb that Black Swan used in our last video. Now remember, in our last video, Black Swan came from a different Earth. And when she came to the main Marvel Universe Earth, she had a bomb with her as a way to destroy the old Earth that she came from. And so right now you have the Avengers trying to recreate that as a way to be one of the many weapons they can use to actually hopefully stop an incursion from happening. Now remember, when it comes to an incursion is when two Earths from different universes are about to crash into one another. When both Earths crash into each other, both universes goes away. But Black Swan told the Avengers that if they get rid of one Earth, then the other Earth stays. And so right now you have the Avengers making this bomb as a way just to be sure they have a weapon to save their Earth from an incursion from happening. Now, you do have Tony Stark tell Mr. Fantastic and Black Panther that he also has his own weapon they can use as a way to destroy another planet. And that is the moment where you have Tony Stark reveal that he has made a Dyson Spear. Now, a Dyson Spear is a piece of technology that goes around the sun to basically weaponize the sun. And so right now, the Avengers can use the sun's energy as a way of a weapon to protect their Earth from an incursion. And so now the Avengers have two ways to protect their Earth. Now, you do have Reed tell Tony to call it Soul's Hammer as a way to represent the god of the sun. And so now the Avengers have two ways to protect their world. But then we jump over to Doctor Strange and we see him right now looking over a certain book. Now, this book, I cannot pronounce the name, and so I am going to call it the Blood Bible. Matter of fact, Doctor Strange calls the book by the same name himself. But either way, when Wong walks into the room to see what Doctor Strange is looking at, Wong is so scared to his own core that he's wondering why in the world is Doctor Strange looking over the Blood Bible, because Wong says it takes 40 men to make one spell even work from that book. But on top of that, whoever uses that book, their soul is tainted. And so Wong wants to know why in the world is Strange looking at that book. But that is the moment you have Strange point out, if he is looking at a book like that, that means something big is coming. But then out of nowhere, that is the moment Strange gets called away because another incursion is about to happen. And so you do have Doctor Strange being able to meet up with the rest of the Illuminati, which is Black Bolt, Black Panther, Namor, Tony Stark, Reed Richards, and also the Beast from the X-Men. Now, with all these guys standing around, they were hoping for two more things to happen before this incursion actually happened. The first was they were hoping that the incursions would stay in remote locations away from innocent people, because they don't want the public to know about this at all. Because if word gets out, about how the Earth could possibly end, it could cause chaos across the Earth. But on top of that, they were hoping that they had more time before this next incursion actually happened. And the reason why, because their weapons are not done. The weapons we saw earlier were not completed at all yet. And so now you have all these guys standing around trying to think of a way to actually stop this incursion from happening. But here comes the problem. All of their ideas basically means somebody must stay on the other Earth and possibly die with that Earth. And so you have Namor walk up and tell them it's time for y'all to man up. We don't have time for you guys to sit here and try to figure out a way to save both Earths or try to find a way to make sure that your souls are not tainted. It's time for you guys to man up and realize that somebody could die. It's us or the other Earth. And right now, it should be them, not us. And so you do have the Illuminati actually go over to the other Earth to begin the process of finding a way to destroy it, to save their own Earth. But when they get over there to this other Earth, they're in luck because this Earth is now being destroyed by Galactus. Now, this is not the main Marvel Universe Galactus. Matter of fact, this is Galactus from an alternate universe, from this Earth universe. And so this Galactus is actually doing a great thing for the Illuminati. And the reason why, because if this Earth is destroyed, then the main Marvel Universe Earth will be spared, and that is a great thing. But here comes the problem. When you are a group of heroes and you see people are in danger, you actually want to go over there to save their lives. And so for a brief moment, you actually have most of the Illuminati want to go over there to actually stop Galactus to save everyone's lives on this Earth. But again, like I said earlier, this is a great thing because if Galactus does destroy this Earth, that means the main Marvel Universe Earth will be spared. But that is the moment where they are confronted by a character known as Terrax. Now, Terrax is a herald of Galactus, and that title is actually very important because if you're holding that title, that means your job is to go across the universe to find different planets for Galactus to actually devour. Now, you do have Terrax point out one big thing for the Illuminati, and that is with Galactus being here right now, he's doing them a favor. Because remember, when it comes to incursions, when two Earths are about to crash into each other, and if they do, both universes die. And so, with Galactus basically destroying this Earth, that means the other Earth is spared, but both universes get to survive. And so you have Terrax say, listen, Galactus is a cosmic being. He is supposed to be at the end of the universe. But with this Earth about to crash into your guys' Earth, our universes are dying too soon. And Galactus cannot have that. And so we decided to save the universe by getting rid of our Earth. And that is very huge. But again, when you have the Illuminati, a group of heroes, of course, they still want to try to stop Galactus to save all of those innocent people's lives. And so, with that being said, the last page of the first issue we are covering, we see the Illuminati actually try to fight against Terrax. And that is the end of just chapter 1. But then we jump over to New Avengers number 5, where we pick up with Reed Richards talking to the Black Swan. Now, the way she is talking, she does bring up the fact that the heroes were able to survive the last incursion, meaning that this takes place after what happened at the ending of our last chapter. But we have no idea how the Illuminati was able to actually survive that. But We'll find out very soon. But either way, you do have Reed bring up the idea that the Black Swan should actually tell the Illuminati how everything started. How did the incursions really start? And so you do have Black Panther appear inside the cage with Black Swan putting a bomb around her neck to basically force her to be on her best behavior as they take her into another room so that she'll be able to explain how everything has started. But while she is leaving, that is the moment we come to find out that the Illuminati was actually able to capture Tyrax, and that is very huge. And that is the moment we jump back to the ending of the last chapter. And that is the moment how we learn how the heroes survived the last incursion, because we jump back to the ending of the first chapter and we see that while the heroes were fighting against Tyrax, well, Galactus took that time as a way to begin the process of speeding up the process of actually destroying the Earth. Because with that Earth gone, that means both universes will survive. And so while you had the heroes fighting against Tyrax, Galactus was able to complete the process and the Earth began to fall apart. And so with that, the Illuminati had no choice but to leave that Earth behind and go back to the original main Marvel Universe Earth. But when they did, they took Tyrax with them as well and took him as a prisoner. Now, you do have Reed Richards bring Black Swan to the rest of the Illuminati, because remember, they want her to explain the origin of the incursions. Why did this happen? But on top of that, also explain who she is and where she came from. Now, real quick, you do actually have her see Doctor Strange, and that is the moment we come to find out that apparently she hates magic users. And so right now, she especially hates Doctor Strange. But you do have the rest of the Illuminati bring her back on track so that she can begin the process of actually telling everyone how everything started when it came to the incursions. Now, the Black Swan begins to tell the Avengers that she is from another Earth, but on top of that, she's from a family of royalty, and she lived in a city called the Hidden City. Now, her brother was next in line to rule the city, but he also had a key. This key was given to him by the Ivory Kings, something we are going to learn about in later videos. But the key was able to open a door to Library of Worlds. It was like a train station to lead people to another universe, except no one was able to actually use the library unless they were trained, and only the great ladies knew how to use the library. But that is the moment Black Swan World was part of an incursion. But when it started, the Black Priests, another group of beings we are going to learn about in later videos, came from another Earth to destroy Black Swan's Earth. Now, everyone on Black Swan's world died, but she was able to escape, taking the key from her brother and hiding in the library. That is when she met the Great Ladies, who are also known as Black Swans, which of course made her the next Black Swan. But the Black Swans used the Library of Worlds as a way to escape from that incursion. Now, that is the moment where you actually have Tony Stark remind Black Swan that they want to know how the incursions actually started. Yes, they are happy to learn about her origin, but they want to know the origin of the incursions. And that is when you have Black Swan say it all started with one event, with one birth, the birth of the Great Destroyer, and his name is Rabum Allah. Now, with that being said, she said when he was born, that is when the incursions began. Now, that is a huge piece of information. But then you have Reed ask her is there any way for them to actually save their world from any other incursions, or really to stop the incursions? And that is the moment you have Black Swan say, there is no way to actually stop incursions from happening because the multiverse must die. The multiverse is dying, but there is a way to save your universe from any more future incursions. And that is a way of just basically destroying the Earth. Evacuate every single human being on planet Earth and take them away, and then blow up the Earth to save this universe from the incursions. But then, out of nowhere, you do have Black Swan actually tell the Illuminati that she has the same tech they have that they use that warns them when the next incursion is going to happen. And she tells them one is about to happen right now. And that is when you have Reed realize is happening in Latveria, the home of Dr. Doom. Now, before the Illuminati and the Black Swan actually head over to Latveria, you do have the Illuminati show Black Swan into another room to show her that they were able to recreate the same bomb that she used when she first arrived in the main Marvel universe. This bomb is powerful enough to destroy another Earth. Now, with her seeing this bomb, it tells her that the Illuminati are taking the first step of going down a dark path, the same path that she had to take when it came to surviving incursions, meaning that the Illuminati are becoming what she wants them to become, which is being okay with taking lives. Because if they want to save their universe, they're gonna have to kill other people to save their universe. And that is something heroes usually have a hard time doing, which is being able to kill. Well, except one hero on the Illuminati. Now, you do have the Illuminati and Black Swan actually go over to the incursion point. Now, this is very huge because usually when someone goes into the incursion point, that is when they are able to see the Earth or the other Earth about to crash into their Earth. Now, the last two times the Illuminati had dealt with an incursion, both zones have been red, except when the Illuminati and Black Swan walk into the incursion point, well, that is when they realize the area is blue. And that is a huge thing because usually when two Earths are about to crash into each other and someone is in the incursion point, the sky is red. The area is completely red. But with this area being completely blue, that is the moment where you actually have Black Swan realize this is not a good thing. This means the Mapmakers have arrived. Now, the Illuminati was also hoping that to come to Latveria to actually stop the incursion before Victor Von Doom had found out. But of course, Victor Von Doom had found out because these Mapmakers that's right now scaring the Black Swan decided to actually attack the Castle of Doom, which means Victor Von Doom got angry. And so now these Mapmakers are feeling the wrath of Dr. Doom. But now the question is though, what in the world is a map maker? And that is when you have Black Swan actually explain what is or what are the map makers. Now, you do have Black Swan explain to us that when it comes to the map makers, they are a race of creatures that travel across the multiverse. Now, when they arrive into a certain universe, they automatically go to that universe Earth and begin the process of killing everything on that Earth, just basically draining the life force off that Earth. Now, once that Earth is completely dead, they then begin the process of traveling over to another universe to do the same process all over again. Now, the way they actually travel across the multiverse is actually using the incursions as a way for them to travel into the next universe. And what they usually do is they rig the Earth they're on at the moment to explode. But right before that Earth does explode, they do make sure a piece of that Earth does crash into the next Earth they're going to, because that piece is their bridge as a way for them to travel into the next universe. And so that is how the Mapmakers get around the multiverse, but to also continue their plans to kill every single Earth across the multiverse, because their goal is to just drain the life force off each Earth they go to. And Black Swan is completely scared, because right now it seems like these Mapmakers are trying to do the same thing right now to the main Marvel universe. Now, you do have Black Swan actually tell the Illuminati to go ahead and kill this dead Earth, because once they do that, that will close the incursion point, which means it will stop the Mapmakers from actually coming into the main Marvel universe. And so you have her tell the Illuminati to use the bomb, but the problem is though, when it comes to this team of heroes, they still have a hard time using the bomb. Yes, this is a dead planet, but you're still talking about actually using a bomb as a way to destroy an entire planet, something they never have done before. But either way, they don't have a choice, because if they don't do it now, the Mapmakers will still come into the main Marvel universe and kill everything in their sight. And so you have Black Panther being the one to make the bomb go off, and the dead Earth is completely gone, which means the incursion point closes and the heroes can see or live to see another day. And so they do leave Latveria, but with them leaving Latveria, that now has Dr. Doom intrigued to learn more about what in the world is going on, because he saw the heroes arrive in Latveria, even though while he was fighting against the Mapmakers, he saw them and he saw them leave, which means he knows there is a huge connection between those Mapmakers and the Illuminati, because once they have left, everything was quiet again. And so Dr. Doom will begin his own plans on figuring out what the Illuminati are doing. Now, after the Illuminati was able to stop that incursion, they do put Black Swan right back in her prison. But let's not forget, her prison is right next to Tyrax, and Tyrax is from that other universe where Galactus had destroyed the Earth to save both universes before they crash into each other in that earlier incursion. But with Tyrax being locked up right next to Black Swan is able to use her ability to talk to Tyrax with her mind. And with her doing that, she does ask him a couple questions. The first question was, does he miss working for Galactus? Of course, he says no. He hated working for Galactus. But she didn't ask him, do you enjoy destroying worlds? And do you want to continue to destroy worlds? And he says yes. And this is actually very huge, because you didn't have Black Swan say, don't worry, our time is coming soon one day. Just have to be patient. And that right there is very huge for later videos down the road. But that is the moment where we actually jump back over to Dr. Doom. And the reason why, because we see some Doombots and actually his son bringing over a container. But in this container, well, there is a piece of the dead planet that the Illuminati had just destroyed earlier. And that is huge, because Dr. Doom was already intrigued on learning about what in the world the Illuminati was up to, and why was there another Earth about to crash into their Earth. But on top of that, you do have one of the Doombots say that this piece fell out of the sky. And that is huge, because remember, when it comes to the Mapmakers, when they're about to travel from one universe over to the next universe, they use the incursions as a way for them to travel. But here comes the thing though, they use a piece of the dead Earth they're coming from as a way to travel over into the next universe. And so this piece right here could have came from that big piece the Mapmakers had used earlier. But either way, Doctor Doom is now intrigued to learn more about what just happened in his country. But with that, that is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please hit the like button down below and subscribe. But also remember, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video.